The story of the Trump administration has been one unlawful action after the next. But as of recently, those unlawful actions have been shot down in the court. It was the goal of Trump and Musk to break as much as they possibly could before courts could intervene. But unfortunately for them, that strategy is actually just backfiring. And we saw that today when a lawsuit preemptively hit Donald Trump over his biggest attack on the Constitution yet, trying to unilaterally dismantle and get rid of the Department of Education. And we are going to get into not just the ridiculous speech that accompanied that action, but the pushback that Trump is getting. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way, and it really does mean a lot to me. Now, before we can get into Trump's nonsense speech, I think Chris Murphy gave a great response to what would be Donald Trump's dismantling of the Department of Education in this clip right here that provides great context.
The billionaire class, the corporate class, the private equity class, they are sick to death that they don't have their hands inside the Department of Education Treasury, that they can't get their hands on our schools like they've gotten their hands into our healthcare system and into every other aspect of our economy. What they want to do is to sell off our public schools to the highest bidder, right? The voucher program that they're talking about, that they will be more easily able to implement if the Department of Education is gone, is really about just making it easier for the billionaire and corporate class to be able to buy up our schools so that they can make money off of it like they make money off of the Medicare program, like they make money off of so many other aspects of our government. So if the Department of Education closes, it's going to hurt millions of families in this country. It's just going to enable the theft of resources from regular families to pad the pockets of the billionaires. But it is also likely to result in you waking up one day and finding out that your local elementary school that your kids go to is owned by a private equity firm on the other side of the country and is being run for profit.
Murphy is telling the story of the entire Trump administration. If it doesn't serve a billionaire, if it doesn't impact their lives, they don't care. It doesn't matter to them. And there's another element of what Donald Trump is really after with this power grab, because ultimately every decision Trump makes isn't necessarily about that individual decision, but his longer-term agenda of consolidating as much power as possible for him and Elon Musk in the Oval Office. And it's clear in what he said right here.
Administration will take all lawful steps to shut down the department. We're going to shut it down and shut it down as quickly as possible. It's doing us no good. We want to return our students to the states where just some of the governors here are so happy about this. They want education to come back to them, to come back to the states, and they're going to do a phenomenal job. You know, if you look, Denmark, Norway, Sweden, I have to tell you, I give them a lot of credit. China's top 10. And so we can't now say that bigness is making it impossible to educate, because China is very big.
This is the argument, this is the line that we continue to hear from Republicans, that they want education to go back to the states, that they want reproductive rights to go back to the states. That's not true. Why Donald Trump wants it back to the states is not so states can control it, is so the federal government can actually more easily control it. But not just the federal government, Donald Trump. It's the reason he's trying to steal the power of the purse from Congress. Donald Trump knows that if he puts education back in the states, then what he's really doing is deciding which states get funding for their education. And if states are doing things he doesn't like, he'll just take it away. It's what we saw him do to my own university, Columbia. He is pulling $400 million in funding because he does not like the policies and the protests at Columbia. Donald Trump has promised that he will not give a single cent to any public school that has a vaccine mandate, any vaccine mandate, not just COVID. That is the effort that they are undertaking here. They want to put things back to the states so that they can more easily control them. And that is a lie that Donald Trump does not want to tell right here.
For a long time, and we're pleased to be joined today by the woman who I chose because she's an extraordinary person, and hopefully she will be our last Secretary of Education, Linda McMahon. Linda, thank you. Thank you very much. That's another interesting statement. It's an interesting opening, right? But it's true, and people, it's been amazing how popular this has been. I tell people that this is what I'm doing today, and they say, oh, it's about time. Everybody says it, Republicans and Democrats.
Republicans and Democrats do not both like this attack on the Department of Education. Republicans don't even like this attack on the Department of Education. It's just not true. We saw this decades ago when President Bush had his No Child Left Behind policy because of previous attacks from Republicans on education more broadly. And it's the reason Donald Trump got instant pushback to what he did, really preemptive pushback, in both the form of a lawsuit and unions and teachers fighting back. And I want to take a look at some of that right here. See you in court. Teachers union vows to fight Trump's education department order. That was the one-sentence retort from a leading teachers union Wednesday, following news that Donald Trump planned to sign an executive order Thursday aimed at eliminating the Department of Education. Randy Weingarten, the head of the American Federation of Teachers, vowed to sue the administration if it moved forward with a mandate to obliterate the agency's limited federal role in the nation's schools. The action is unlawful, she and others have argued, because only Congress has the power to close federal agencies. Still, the Trump administration has slashed the education department's workforce in half, which is prompting widespread concern from students in schools about reductions in vital services. Democratic state attorney generals and advocates for students with disabilities sued last week to stave off those cuts. Multiple polls, contrary to what Trump has said, have shown that the idea of abolishing the education department is unpopular among Americans. Teachers' unions have been at the forefront of litigation against the Trump administration's education policies in recent weeks and months. The AFT filed a separate suit this week accusing the education department under Trump of effectively breaking the student loan system. Once again, if it doesn't serve a billionaire, Donald Trump does not care. And if it doesn't serve Donald Trump, he really, really does not care. But teachers are fighting back, not just in the form of lawsuits, but speaking out as well. And a great example of that was highlighted last night by Chris Hayes in a segment I want to check out.
Like Sarah Anama. For the past 4 years, she's taught world civilization to sixth graders at Lewis and Clark Middle School in Meridian, Idaho. And like all teachers, she decorates her classroom with motivational posters. Posters like this one that says, "In this room, everyone is welcome, important, accepted, respected, encouraged, valued, and equal." An even more straightforward one showing children's raised hands with the tagline, "Everyone is welcome here." You have probably seen this kind of stuff a million times in kids' classrooms. I know I have as a dad. The kind of inspirational messages that are simply meant to tell students, whoever you are in the right place, you belong here. Shouldn't be controversial, right?
So for 4 years, these signs have survived sans harassment. Nobody said a word about them. That is, until about a month ago.
My building administration came to me during my lunch period and told me that they needed to be taken down by the end of the day. They told me that they were in violation of district policy because in today's political environment, they're considered a personal opinion.
Did they say somebody complained about them?
No. I asked if anyone had complained about them, and they said, no, we just want to protect you from that if that were to happen.
In this political environment, that is not acceptable.
Yeah, I was told a couple things. That everyone is welcome here is not something that everybody believes. So that's what makes it a personal opinion.
You were told this, that not everybody believes everyone is welcome.
Right.
Not everyone believes everyone is welcome. Believe it or not, that is the new policy of the West Ada School District. It is a policy they updated after Idaho lawmakers passed a state law stating that critical race theory divides people and is contrary to the unity of the nation and the well-being of the state. The team trying to cancel this classroom poster is in a kid's classroom is led by the school district's chief academic officer, Marcus Myers. And yes, he says the problem here is the colors of the hands.
If there was a poster that just said everyone is welcome here, black background, white words, do you think the team would have objected to that?
I don't think the team would have. Now, that would have been a team decision, but I don't think the team would have. And I say that because those exist in our schools.
I was going to say, you have things that are
Yes.
almost identical to this. They just don't have multicoloring, and then they don't have the hands that obviously are different shades of skin tone,
Yeah.
right? Ranging from white all the way to black.
Yeah.
So
the text by itself doesn't allow for interpretation.
Okay, so that's school district chief academic officer Marcus Myers. Everyone is welcome here as long as you're not talking about, everyone. As dumb as this is, and boy, it's dumb, this is what is happening across the country. Civil rights initiatives, anti-discrimination initiatives, diversity initiatives, inclusion, all being gutted. So, if you were in that teacher's position, what would you do?
Because I was told to take it down by the end of the day, I did so. And the following few days, I just was so unsettled by it. And so I went back into my classroom and put it back up. And I emailed my principal and said, I don't agree. I don't agree that this is a personal opinion. I feel like this is the basis of public education.
Sarah Anama says the school district offered to buy her other, less controversial posters. She says Myers, the district boss, told her the political environment ebbs and flows, and what might be controversial now might not have been controversial 3, 6, 9 months ago, and we have to follow that. They have now given her until the end of the school year to take down the posters or face possible punishment for insubordination. That, she says, just solidified her resolve.
I just feel like, as a teacher, and I feel like probably a lot of teachers share this sentiment, I would do anything to protect my students. I love all of them unconditionally. We protect them from danger. Quite literally would take a bullet for these students. And this is the one small thing that I feel like I can do to speak out against this and stand up for them, to protect them from being affected by racist sentiments affecting their classroom. I find it hard to grapple with the fact that the reason why this poster needs to come down is because there are people outside of our school that disagree with it.
Now, Sarah Anama was not alone. Her students have staged walkouts on her behalf.
We still do have agency. Donald Trump and Elon Musk want to break things as quickly as possible and then fight it out in the court of public opinion before it can actually get to the courts. We have to make sure that we are highlighting every example of not only how Donald Trump breaks the law and breaks our government, but is trying to break and betray the promises of his campaign to make people's lives better and cheaper. That is the opposite of what is happening right here. Donald Trump is making the lives of teachers, probably the most underpaid people in our society, even more expensive and difficult with the ways he continues to attack our education system. Teachers are fighting back. We got to have their backs. I come from a family of educators. Donald Trump can screw off. We're fighting back. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button. You can leave a like on this video. And if you stuck around at the end, you can drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.